हॅलो फ्रेंड्स, तर राणा अकॅडमी या यूट्यूब चॅनलवरती आपल्या सर्वांचं स्वागत आहे. आपण स्टार्ट केले आहे महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डचा सिलेबस, ज्यामध्ये आपण महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डचा सिलेबस एका व्हिडिओमध्ये कव्हरअप केला. त्यानंतर महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डची 11th क्लासची बायोलॉजीची सिरीज महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डची आता चालू केली आहे. तरी त्यामध्ये आता नेक्स्ट चॅप्टर आहे मॉर्फोलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स अँड ऑफ महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्ड सिलेबस. तर आपण मॉर्फोलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स हे चॅप्टर आता ह्या व्हिडिओमध्ये पाहणार आहोत. चला तर मग तुम्ही या चॅनलवरती नवीन आला असाल तर प्लीज या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करा, जेणेकरून तुम्हाला आमचे नवनवीन व्हिडिओज पाहण्यासाठी पाहायला मिळतील. चला तर मग सुरुवात करूया. मॉर्फॉलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स 11th क्लास बायोलॉजी महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्ड सिलेबस. चला तर मग नेक्स्ट नाव आहे रिनाज गुलाबसिंग सोलंकी. अकाउंट नंबर दिलेला आहे, जेणेकरून तुम्हाला काही आम्हाला डोनेट करायला वाटत असेल, आमच्या चॅनलला काही मदत करावीशी वाटत असेल तर तुम्ही जरूर करा, जेणेकरून तुम्हाला नवनवीन व्हिडिओज भेटतील आमच्या चॅनलवरती आणि आम्हाला पण उत्साह वाढेल, की जेणेकरून नवीन व्हिडिओज टाकताना आम्हाला पण बरं वाटेल. तर जर तुम्हाला काही डोनेट करायचं असेल आमच्या चॅनलला तर प्लीज तुम्ही अकाउंट नंबर आणि IFSC कोड अकाउंट नंबरवरती डोनेट करू शकता. तर मग बोलूया. अकाउंट नंबर सांगते 032990101222131. IFSC कोड आहे IPOS 00000001. तर मग तुम्हाला काही डोनेट करावंसं वाटत असेल, आमच्या चॅनलला काही मदत करावीशी वाटत असेल तर तुम्ही प्लीज आम्हाला मदत करा. आमच्या अकाउंट नंबरवरती काही तुमच्याकडून डोनेशन होत असेल तर प्लीज याच्या नंबरवरती तुम्ही टाका. चला तर मग नेक्स्ट पाहूया. मॉर्फॉलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स हा चॅप्टर आहे आपला 9वा चॅप्टर आहे बायोलॉजी ऑफ 11th क्लासचा महाराष्ट्र स्टेट बोर्डचा. तर आता मग व्हिडिओला सुरुवात करूया. Angiosperms or earth has a vast diversity of plants. The flowering plants dominate the world of plants as very thin, as they are well adapted to the environment conditions. These plants show considerable variation in their general external and internal characters with respect to their habitat. Such variations help the plant body to carry out different functions. You have studied broad classification of kingdom plantae. Angiosperms are one of the flowering plants from phanerogams. Angiosperms can be classified into different types of the basis of habitat, and it can be represented as follows. Angiosperms: hydrophytes, xerophytes, somophytes, lithophytes, and halophytes. Alpha classification of angiosperms 9.1 chart. Angiosperms classification based on habitat. In angiosperms, seed germinates under favorable environmental conditions and produces a seedling which develop into a new plant. Morphologically, plant shows vegetative structure like roots, stem, leaf, and reproductive structures such as flowers, fruits, and seeds. Typical angiospermic plant: a root. The root is the descending axis of plant body, which is positively geometric and hydrotropic. Now, but negatively phototropic and aerotropic. Now, root growth beneath the soil surface towards gravity. Roots are generally non-green, cylindrical, and without nodes and internodes. A typical root structure. A typical root has different regions. Figure 9.3: regions of root, regions of maturation, regions of root hairs, regions of cell elongation, and meristematic region, and regions of root cap. Parenchymatous multicellular structure in the form of cap present over young Young growing root apex is known as root cap. Cell of root cap, this secret mucilage for lubricating passage of root through the soil. Cells of root cap show presence of starch granules, which help in gravitational gravis perception and geometric movement of the root. Usually single root cap is present in plants, but in plants like pandanus and or screw pine, multiple root caps are present. In hydrophytes, root caps are replaced by root presence of root cap. Root cap, the growing apex of root is subterminal in position. The apex of root is a growing point about 1 millimeter in length, protected by root cap. This region is called as region of cell division or meristematic region. The structure is developed by a compactly arranged thin-walled actively dividing meristematic cells. These cells bring about a longitudinal growth of root. It is followed by region of elongation. This region of cells is present just above the zone of the cell division. The cells are newly formed and now show rapid elongation to bring about increase in length of the root. The cells help in absorption of mineral salts. The region of root hair absorption piliferous zone is made up of numerous hairs like outgrowths. The epiblema or piliferous layer produces tubular elongation as in the close contact with soil particles, and root hairs are short-lived. Functions of root. Roots carry out several functions which can be categorized into primary and secondary functions. Primary functions of root are fixation or exchange, anchorage of plant body in the soil, absorption of water and minerals from soil, and conduction of absorbed materials up to the stem base, etc. Types of root. On the basis of origin, roots can be classified as tap roots or true roots and adventitious roots. A tap root which develops from the radical of an embryo during seed germination is known as taproot and or true root. The main root is called the primary root. Its branches of first order are called as secondary roots, whereas branches of second order are called as tertiary roots. Example: pea, bean, sunflower, etc. The main root with all its branches is known as the taproot system. Taproot system is commonly seen in dicotyledonous plants. Adventitious roots. The root that develops from any part other than radical is called known as adventitious roots. Such roots may develop from the base of the stem, nodes, or from leaves. In monocots, the radical is short-lived, and from the base of stem, a thick cluster of equal-sized roots maize. This is adventitious root system. Example: maize, wheat, sugarcane, etc. It is also known as fibrous root system, as they look like fiber. The growth of roots is superficial. Adventitious root is in some plants are used for vegetative propagation. Example: Euphorbia, Carapacia, Hippeacunthia, Ipecia, etc. Figure 9.4. Types of root. Taproot system, adventitious root system. Modification of root. When roots have to perform some special type of functions in addition or to instead of their normal function, they develop some structural changes. Such roots are called as metamorphosed roots. Modification of taproot. Flood food root storage. When taproot stores food, it becomes swollen, fleshy, and also develops a refined shape. Main and or primary root is the main storage organ, but sometimes hypocotyle part of embryo axis also joins the main root. Secondary root remains thin. Stem in such causes remain or reduced the discoid, and leaves are radical leaves on the basis of shape. Swollen taproots are classified as fusiform, conical, and napiform. The fusiform root is swollen in the middle and tapering towards both ends, forming spindle-shaped structure called radish. Seraphanus sativus. The conical root is broad at its morphological base and narrows down towards its apex is called as a conical root. Example: carrot, Didocus carota. Then apiform root. Base of root is highly swollen, almost spherical in shape, and abruptly narrowed down towards its apex. Example: Beta vulgaris. Figure 5 9.5 swollen taps roots. For respiration, pneumatophores or respiratory roots. Halophytes are the plants which grow in saline swamps, marshy places, and salt lakes. These plants produce special kind of roots are called as pneumatophores or breathing roots. The main root system of these plants do not get sufficient air for respiration, as soil is water logged. Due to this, mineral absorption of plant also gets affected. To overcome this problem, underground roots develop special roots which are negatively geotropic, so growing vertically upward. These roots are conical projections present around main trunk of plant. Figure 9.6 respiratory roots. The roots show presence of lenticles, that is minute pores for gaseous exchange. Pneumatic follow for stalk. Example: Rhizophora, Avicennia, Soneraceae, heritant variety Sundari, etc. Modifications of adventitious roots. Food storage. Fibrous roots also show food storage like taproot, but the main difference is that fibrous roots usually do not develop a definite shape. These roots are further classified as simple tuberous, fasciculated tuberous, beaded, and nodulous roots. Figure 9.7 tuberous root. Simple tuberous roots become swollen and do not show definite shape. They are produced singly. The roots arise from the nodules over the stem and penetrates into the soil. Example: a cluster of roots are arising from one point which becomes thick and fleshy due to storage of food is known as fasciculated tuberous root. These clusters are seen at the base of the stem. Example: Dahlia, asparagus, etc. These beaded roots are also called as moniliform roots. These roots are swelling at regular intervals like beads of the necklace. Example: Spinacia, oleracea, Indian spinach. The cluster of long, slender roots becomes enlarged at the tips, forming nodules is known as nodulous roots. Example: Aro, Maranta roots, Amhaldi, Karkama Amada. Example: Figure 9.8 nodulous roots. For mechanical support, prop roots, columnar roots. These roots arise from horizontal branches of tree like banyan tree, Ficus branchialis, and grow vertically downwards till they penetrate the soil. These prop roots show secondary growth, becomes thick, act like pillars to provide mechanical support to the heavy branches. Figure 9.9 banyan tree. Stilt roots. These roots normally arise from a few lower nodes of a weak stem in some monocots, shrubs, and small trees. They show obliquely downward growth, penetrating soil, and provide mechanical support to the plant in the members of the family Poaceae. Now, plants like maize, jawar, sugarcane, etc., produce tilt root and wall around the node. Figure 9.14. Figure 9.10. Maize plant roots. These roots provide additional support to the plant body in screw pine or pandanus cavada. The stilt roots rise only from the lower surface of obliquely growing stem for additional support. These roots show multiple root caps, climbing roots. Different climbers with weak stem produce roots at their nodes by means of the which they attach themselves to support and where and thereby raise themselves above the ground. Example: betel leaf or pan, black pepper or piper nigrum, kali mirch, pothos or money plant. Figure 9.11. Climbing roots, betel leaf, clinging roots. These tiny roots develop along internodes. Now show disc tips which exclude a sticky substance. This substance enables plant to get attached with walls of buildings. They do not damage substratum. Example: the English Avi Hedera helix. Figure 9.12. Clinging roots. Plank roots buttress often develop at the base of the large trees from form blank like extensions around stem. Example: silk, cotton, purple, etc. Figure 9.13. Plank roots. Banyan tree roots developed at the nodes of aquatic herbs like Gessia repens become highly inflated and spongy, providing buoyancy and helping the root plant to float. Figure 9.14. Spongy roots for special functions. Epiphytic roots. Small epiphytic root plants such as orchids growing on the branches of huge trees in dense rain forests and are unable to obtain soil moisture. They produce specialized root to hang in the air. The roots are provided for the velamen tissue. The cells of velamen absorbs moisture from air. Velamen tissue is hygroscopic and have porous walls. The roots may be salivary, white or green, but without root cap. Example: Vanilla, Dendrobium, etc. Figure 9.15. Epiphytic roots. Sucking roots are hysteria. Specialized microscopic sucking roots developed by parasitic plants to absorb nourishment from the host. Viscum album is a partial parasite. It develops hysteria which penetrates into xylem of host plant for absorption of water and nutrients. In Cascata reflexa or Dodder ambraval, hysteria penetrates vascular strand and suck food from phloem, water and minerals from xylem. Cascuta Cascuta is leafless plant with yellow stem. It is a total parasite. Figure 9.16. Sucking roots. Stem. The aerial part of the plant body is known as shoot system. Stem is the main axis of this shoot system. Stem is the ascending part of the plant body which develops from plumule and bears reproductive units. Birds, it is differentiated into nodes and internodes. It is usually positively phototrophic, negatively geostrophic, and negatively heterotrophic. It shows different types of birds, auxiliary, apical, accessory, etc. At the nodes, it produces dissimilar organs such as leaves and flowers, are similar organs such as branches. A young stem is green and capable of photosynthesis. And the primary functions of the stem are to produce the supports, branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits, conduction of water and minerals, the transportation of food to plant parts. Figure 9.17 stem structure. Modification of stem develops some modifications for additional or accessory functions to perform such function. Stem shows different modifications. Underground stem in some herbaceous plants, the stem develops below the soil surface, called as underground stem. Underground stem remains dormant during unfavorable conditions, and on the advent of favorable conditions, it produces aerial parts, aerial shoots. Underground stem is known to produce store food, helps in pollination and vegetation of propagation. The rhizome, it is prostrate, dorsiventrally thickened and brownish in color. It grows either horizontally or obliquely beneath the soil. Rhizome shows nodes and internodes. Bears terminal and auxiliary buds at nodes. Terminal bud, under favorable conditions, produces aerial shoot which degenerates. At the end of favorable conditions, growth of rhizome takes place with lateral buds. Such a growth is known as sympodial growth. Example: gingiver officinale, and occur turmeric, curcuma domestica. Obliquely, curcuma domestica, canna, etc. In plants where rhizomes grows obliquely, terminal bud brings about growth of rhizomes. This is known as monopodial growth. Example: nymphia, nelumbo, lotus, lepteris, fern. Figure 9.18 rhizome of ginger. Stem tuber, special underground branches of stem at their tips become swollen due to storage of food material, which is mostly starch. Presence of distinct nodes but not internodes classifies a tuber as stem. The at nodes parts scale leaves are present in the axillary buds, commonly known as eyes. Eyes can produce the aerial shoot under favorable conditions. Tubers are propagated vegetatively. The example: potato, Solanum tuberosum, matalu, Helianthus tuberosum. The tuber has two distinct ends, while the apical end and basal end, called as rose and hill end, respectively. The number of nodes and eyes is more towards the rose end. Figure 9.19 tuber of potato. Bulb is an underground spherical and piriform stem. Stem is highly produced and discoid. It bears a whole of fleshy leaves. The scale leaves or fleshy leaves show concentrate arrangement over the stem. Those store food material. Some outer scale leaves become thin and dry. The reduced stem produces adventitious roots at its base. The bulb is of different types. Tunicated or layered bulb is made up of fleshy leaves arranged in concentric manner with the outer dry scale leaf. Example: onion and garlic. The bulb is scaly or compound tunicated. The fleshy scale are arranged in overlapping pattern. Figure 9.20 bulbs Calm. Calm is swollen underground spherical or subspherical vertically growing stem. It is condensed structure with circular or ring-like nodes. Presence of axillary buds and scales is observed. Adventitious bulbs are produced which help in vegetative propagation. Adventitious roots are produced at lower parts of stem. Example: Colocasia, Amorphophallus, Jamaica elephant, etc. Figure 9.21 subaerial stem. The stems are generally weak and straggling stems growing over the ground and need support for perpetuation. Sometimes these stems are found to grow beneath the soil surface also. Thus, they have show are meant for perenniation and vegetative propagation. Scale leaves and axillary buds are present over stem interface. The latter produces aerial shoots. The different types of subaerial shoots are as follows: trailer. The shoot threads over the ground without intervals. The branches are thin, either flat, that is procumbent, or partly vertical, that is the decumbent. Example: Euphorbia, Tridax, etc. Figure 9.22 Euphorbia runner. They are spherical, narrow prostate or horizontal green branches which develop at the base of erect shoots known as crown. Runners thread in all directions and to produce new crowns with a bunch of adventitious roots. Presence of nodes with scale leaves and axillary buds is observed. Example: Cyanodon, lawn grass, Centella, hydrocotyle, oxalis, etc. Figure 9.23 runner stolons. The slender lateral branch rising from the base of main axis is known as stolon. In some plants, it is above ground. Wild strawberry, primary stolon, grows upward growth in the form of ordinary branch, but when it bends and touches the ground terminal, but grown to new shoot and adventitious roots. Example: Manthia. Figure 9.24 stolon sucker. It is a non-green runner like branch of stem in which develops from the underground base of roots. It grows horizontally below the soil and finally comes above the soil surface. Now, to produce new plants, sucker can be termed as underground runner. Example: chrysanthemum, banana, etc. Offset. These are one internode long runners in rotating plants at underground at ground of or water level. Offset belong helps in vegetative propagation or water hyacinth. Example: water hyacinth and gel kumbi, cornea and pistia. Figure 9.26 offset. Aerial modifications. The stem or its vegetative part modified to carry out specialized functions. They develop various modifications for this purpose. Such modified stem are called as metamorphosed stem. The different modifications can be discussed as under thorn. It is modification of apical or axillary bud. Thorn is a hard pointed and mostly are straight structure except bougainvillea where it is curved and useful for climbing. It helps in reducing transcription and browsing or marauding animals. Apical and develops into three thorns in carissa whereas auxiliary bud develops into thorn in Durantia, citrus, bougainvillea, etc. Phylloclade. Modification of stem into phylloclade being leaf-like photosynthetic organs is known as phylloclade. Being stem is it possesses nodes and internodes. It is black, thick, fleshy and succulent. Contains mucilage for retaining water. Example: Opuntia cylindrical in Casurina and ribbon like Mohelvenkia. Cladodes. The branches of limited growth that is one internode long and performing photosynthetic function are called as cladodes. True leaves are reduced to spine or scales. Example: asparagus. Figure 9.29 cladodes. Cladophylls. These are leaf-like structures bore in the axis of scale leaf. It has the floral bud and scale leaf in the middle. That is upper, that is half and leaf. Half is leaf and lower half is stem. Example: ruscus. Bulbils. In plants like Dioscorea, axillary bud becomes fleshy and rounded due to storage of food called as a bulbil. When it falls off, it produces new plants and help in vegetative propagation. Now, figure 9.31 bulbils. Leaves are the most important appendages as they carry out photosynthesis and also help in remove excess amount of water from plant body. Leaf develops from leaf primordium. A leaf is dorsiventrally flattened lateral appendage of stem. It is produced as nodal regions. Leaf is thin, expanded, and green due to presence of photosynthetic pigments. It shows exogenous origin. Axil of leaf shows presence of axillary bud. Leaf A leaf shows a limited growth or does not show apical bud or a growing point. Typical leaf structure. It shows presence of three main parts: leaf base or hypodium, petiole, mesopodium, and leaf lamina blade or epipodium. The leaf base. The point by which leaf remains attached to stem is known as leaf base. The nature of leaf bases varies in different plants. It may be a bulbous, swollen, sheathing, or linguate, lingulate, etc. In some plants, the leaves possess a pair of lateral outgrowths called stipules. The leaf with stipule is said to be a stipulate, and without stipule is stipulate are normally green protective structure of typical leaf. Petiole or mesopodium, the part of the leaf which connect leaf lamina with the leaf base is known as petiole of leaf. A leaf with petiole or is petiolate, and the leaf without petiole is termed as sessile leaf. Petiole helps lamina to get exposed to light and also helps in conduction. Lamina and epipodium, large expanded flat and green part of leaf. The lamina surface plays important role in photosynthesis, gaseous exchange and transpiration. Automatically, anatomically, the leaf is either dorsiventral or isobilateral. The dorsiventral leaf is common in dicots and isobilateral in monocots. Centric or cylindrical leaves are those in which both the surfaces of leaf cannot be distinguished distinctly. Leaf lamina varies greatly in shape, margin, and apex. Leaf venation, arrangement of veins and venlets in leaf lamina is known as venation. Veins are responsible for conduction of water and minerals as well as food. The structural framework of the lamina is developed by veins. Types of leaf based on inclusion of lamina. The leaves are of two main types, that is simple and compound. The leaf with the entire lamina is called a simple leaf, and leaf in which lamina is divided into some number of leaflets called as compound leaf. Compound leaf are two types. Pinnately compound leaflets are present laterally on the common axis called rachis, which represents the midrib of the leaf. Figure 9.33 types of compound leaf. Figure 9.33b types of compound leaf. Modification of leaves. Apart from gaseous exchange and perception of light for flowering, however, leaves may undergo modifications to perform several others functions. As per the modification, there are different types of leaves shown below. Leaf spines. Sometimes entire leaf is modified into spines, or margin of leaf becomes spiny. Agave or stipule modifies into spine. Acacia to check the rate of transpiration, or to protect plant from grazing. Example, the zippers, etc. Leaf tendrils. In some weak stems, for providing additional support, leaflet, or other parts modifies to produce thin, green, very called structure called as leaf tendrils. It helps in climbing leaf hooks. In plants like Begnonia, Anguis, Coti, cat's fennel, the terminal leaflet gets modified into three stiff, served and pointed bow hooks used to climb over bark of tree. Followed when followed, petal of leaf becomes flat, green, and leaf like. It is called as phyllodes. In Acacia auriculiformis, the normal leaf is bipinnately compound and falls off soon. The petal modifies itself into phyllodes. It is xerophytic adaptation. Phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy. Arrangement of leaves on the stem and branches in a specific manner is known as phyllotaxy. It enables leaf to get sufficient life. Figure 9.3 types of phyllotaxy. Alternate hold up opposite the cassette, opposite superposed inflorescence. A specialized axis of branch over which flowers are produced or born in a definite manner is known as inflorescence. Inflorescence has two parts, peduncle and flowers. There are basic types of inflorescence. All the flowers do not mature at the same time. Chances of pollination increase, and large number of flowers can be pollinated in single visit. Also makes the plant attractive. Types of inflorescence: racemose, cymose, flower. Insertion of floral whorls: hypogyny, perigyny, epigyny, hypogynous, perigynous, epigynous. Figure 9.42 insertion of floral whorls. Calyx, corolla. Floral parts and their structure: calyx, corolla. Arrangement of sepals, petals and tepals. Figure 9.43. Valvate, twisted, imbricate, vexillary. Androecium. Typical stamen shows three different parts: filament, anther, filament, connective, cohesion of stamens, adhesion of stamens, syngenesis and syndrose. Gynoecium. Placentation. Types of placentation: parietal basal, marginal axial, parietal basal. Types of placentation: placentation, the mode of arrangement of ovules on the placenta within the ovary is called placentation. Placentation, the mode of arrangement of ovules on the placenta within the ovary is called placentation. Placentation types of placentation: marginal, axial, parietal, basal, free central. Figure 9.45 types of placentation. Fruits. Figure 9.46 mango. Figure 9.47 apple. Seed. Study of some important families: Fabaceae, Solanaceae. इम्पॉर्टंट फॅमिली दिलेल्या आहेत फॅबेसी आणि सोलेनेसी. त्यांचे फ्लोरल फॉर्म्युला दिला आहे, फ्लोरल डायग्राम दिलेली आहे. फिगर 9.48 पी प्लांट डिटेल्स. फिगर 9.49 दतुरा प्लांट, सोलेनेसी दतुरा प्लांट. फ्लोरल फॉर्म्युला, फ्लोरल डायग्राम. तर आपला मॉर्फोलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स हा चॅप्टर इथे संपतो. आपण व्हिडिओमध्ये पूर्ण आपण कव्हरअप केला आहे मॉर्फोलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स. मॉर्फोलॉजी ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग प्लांट्स. तर तुम्ही या चॅनलवर नवीन आला असाल तर प्लीज या चॅनलला सबस्क्राईब करा. आणखीन एकदा सूचना, तुम्हाला जर आम्हाला काही डोनेट करावं असं वाटत असेल तर प्लीज या नंबरवरती अकाउंट नंबर दिलेला आहे, ह्या नंबरवरती तुम्ही डोनेट करू शकता. रीना गुलाबसिंग सोलंकी या नावाने अकाउंट आहे आणि अकाउंट नंबर दिलेला आहे, IFSC कोड पण दिलेला आहे. तर प्लीज तुम्ही काय डोनेट करायची इच्छा असेल तर प्लीज तुम्ही डोनेट करू शकता आम्हाला, आमच्या चॅनलला. चला तर मग ह्या व्हिडिओला टाटा बाय बाय करूया. प्लीज लाईक, शेअर अँड सबस्क्राईब. थँक्यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग.